Hi, and welcome to this week's episode of the DW podcast with Uruguayan football player and now football manager Gus Poyet. To a British football fan, this man needs no introduction. His journey in the game has been absolutely fantastic. It was such a joy and a pleasure to speak to him. Gus could talk for hours and hours, and I could listen for hours and hours, to be honest. So, this podcast, for a change, is split into two parts. The first will probably focus more on Gus's playing career, starting out in Uruguay, where he was born and brought up, before moving to France, Spain, and then over to England to play for Chelsea and Tottenham. And then the second half, which will be published next week, we'll go on to talk a bit more about Gus's management career and a bit more about his life in general. Thanks very much for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy this as much as I do.
For full accident management support, including motor replacement, repairs and personal injury compensation claims, just search G4 Claims today.
Hi, and welcome to this week's episode of the DW podcast. I am joined by football legend Gus Poyet. Is that fair to say?
Well, that legend, there is. We put legends only the top, but okay, it's no problem.
What's been happening with yourself? How are you getting on?
Well, I'm okay. We had a difficult time like anyone during the pandemic or the pandemia, but it's been good with the family. We are adapting constantly. We're trying to listen as much as we can. I know that people, it's been learning through the time, and because of that, there is so many contradictions.
Yep.
But that's something that I think we need to improve, because at the end, contradictions brings confusion. Confusion brings fear, and fear brings, bad life, we can say to everyone. So I think we need a little bit more clarification. And especially, my only opinion is, when it's a virus like this one, until 3 months ago or 6 months ago, we can say, history says that the people needed to be in quarantine. It was only the people with the virus.
Yeah, sure.
Not healthy people.
Yeah.
So it's the first time in the history of humanity that we don't let people get out, even being healthy. They can say that they cannot control it, but they can. So they took a little bit of our freedom away, and that's dangerous if we don't make things clear. I have to say England was different to most. It was quite decent comparing to other countries' possibility of the freedom. So pleased to be part of the English life.
So just going back to the start, Gus, you obviously were born in Uruguay, and was it Montevideo?
Yep. Montevideo, the capital, 1967. Sport family, media class, typical Uruguayan family who, you live a lot during, your area with your friends, school, primary school, secondary school. I even got into university, but obviously always playing sports, especially football.
I believe your dad was a basketball player, is that right?
He was a basketball player by accident. He loved football, but life took him to basketball. So I can say that it's kind of my second sport.
Sure.
It's true that I didn't play basketball for the last 6-7 years, because it's not that kind of a sport that you can play anywhere, and especially in England, which surprised me. I thought that basketball would be very special or very supportive in England because of weather conditions, and basketball being an indoor sport, perfect for England. But unfortunately, no, it's not a sport that people really like to either to play or to watch.
What was it like growing up in Uruguay? Because back then, in the 60s, 70s, Uruguay were, in terms of football, one of the world's best, weren't they?
Yes, it was. It was all about football. At that time, probably people now, especially the millennials, most part of the world, we were living in the streets. I'm not saying living, sleeping. I mean, you were in your house, but as soon as you finish with, for example, me, I had a deal with my mom.
Okay.
Come back from school, homeworks, out.
Sure.
First, homework. So it was no problem with the timing after that. You needed to get early back because of the homework. So as soon as you do the homework, you were free to get out. So we were in the streets. We were playing football, obviously. We were playing a lot of, we call it like a racquetball that we play in the street. We were playing anything that it was possible to play outside. We were doing it. When the skateboards, they came. Yeah. We were buying and trying to make different things, ramps to jump and things. So everything that you can make outside, we were trying to make it. So, and it was very, very strong neighborhood as well. Different ages, which helps because you learn from the elders and you kind of teach the youngest, but we were all mixed. So I had no complaints. I had a great, great life when I was young. Very, very nice.
What age did you realise, I've got something special here when it comes to playing football?
Well, I think when I started playing and I started competing and you start seeing, normally I'll tell you how it works in Uruguay. You go to a local team when you are around 5, 6 years old. So you start playing 9-a-side game and then later on 7-a-side before going into an academy. So normally, the ones that we had the chance to go to professional, in your team, you were, let's say, one of the best. Not the best, but one of the best. Sure. So people was already looking at you thinking, oh, okay, maybe, he will have a chance. But it's one truth that I said many times. I definitely play in my teams, all my young youth career, with better players than me.
Really?
I swear. The ones that you look at them and you say, he's going to make it. I mean, it's so much quality. But football is not only about quality. Football is about mentality. It's about your family. It's about your friends. It's about your second girlfriend. It's about a coach, a director, an agent. Everything needs to come into what I call like a motorway. And if everything fits in that road, then you got a chance. Yeah. Anything that take you away from it, you got less and less chances. So unfortunately for a few of my teammates, they didn't make it as much as I did. So like I said, there's so many things that need to come together. It's not only quality.
What do you put it down to for yourself? Do you think it was a good family balance? And
family for sure, 100%. A way of living life, respect. So many times they ask me, which was your best strength in football or your best quality, and you start thinking about technically or heading the ball or I don't know.
Sure.
And I always go back to professional. But professional in the whole world of professional means training 100% every day, being fit, trying to recover on time when an injury, giving your maximum every game, like it was the last game, behaving away from home, away from the club, having a good life, looking after yourself, looking what you're eating, being careful with drinking, so many things that involve the professional world. Yeah. Because we are used to amateur, not getting paid, professional, getting paid. No, that's not the difference. Professional means a lot. And I think my professionalism, which is coming with my education in Uruguay, my parents, my school, and all the group of friends and my wife. I've been married for more than 30 years. So everything is going in a way like that road that I told you before, that motorway, that helped me to be able to produce after your qualities.
Do you think it's harder for football players coming through now? Or do you think it was just as challenging back then? Because now you've got things like social media, their whole life is on television or it's on social media.
I think there is plenty of more mental issues.
Yeah.
We're talking a lot now in England about the mental issues. I think there is a lot because it affects you more things outside your circle.
Yeah.
That they used to affect us. We didn't know. I mean, when I was young, you were not in newspapers, you were nothing. I mean, the first time you were in the newspaper, you would cut it, and keep it. Your mom will make the book. Nowadays, it's constant. Yeah. So also there is a lot of more money I think it's difficult to compare it, but there is so much money that as soon as you get it to a certain point, the amount of money that is coming to you is big. And depending on what happened in your life, depending on your education, depending on your family, depending on your friends, and everything is around you, you keep what I call the balance and the standards of your commitment, or you lose it because it's so much money that you go, and everything goes. So I think it's easier to reach a Premier team nowadays, but it's more difficult to maintain yourself because of these external pressures. I think social media is, I'm going to put it both ways, it's a great way of information, and it's a terrible way of getting destroyed, because it's too much aggressivity, too much abuse, too many opinions. People make opinions on other people without know them. It's scary. Anyone can have a war, and the hardest and the most stupid way of doing it, the more publicity you get. If you are a normal one, you don't get publicity. But if you're really an extreme critic or abuser, then yes. So I think it's a problem we need to manage better. I don't know how. But it should be a little bit more control, with any doubt.
Do you think football clubs, especially in England, do enough to protect players from this outside influence? Or?
They try. But the problem that
ultimately it's down to the player, isn't it?
It's up to the player, but also there is so many people around the world that you cannot control everyone. I mean, the only way to control it is to control the social media, and the players don't want that. But they don't want that either because of financial reasons. Remember that the football players that they are earning fortunes in social media. So I think it has to be more a global thing. I think it has to be. I'll make an example. I know that we want freedom, and I said it before. I'm the first one who want freedom. But when I had to get, and I'm not trying to make any publicity here, if I want to have football on TV, I need to pay a membership to one of the companies. I don't make any name.
No worries.
To get that, no?
Yeah.
Now, to do that, I need to put my name, my address, and probably my credit card or my bank account. Yeah? What? Why to have a Twitter or a Facebook or no? It's not the same. Because if now the person who is doing that is, everybody knows where he lives, age, responsibilities, then he should be more careful about what he says. The problem here is that anyone can make a fake account.
It's dangerous.
It's free. It's dangerous. And they say things that they shouldn't say. Because the problem that we don't understand is, and there is something that I think Mia, especially my assistant and myself, we do a lot. We put a lot, even if people doesn't believe me this, I swear, we put a lot in the other side. But I put myself in the side of the chairman, which is one position, but I put myself as well in the side of a player or the kidman. So when I'm going to have a discussion with any of them, I try to put myself in their situation, and try to solve the problem. And not just go in there to put my point and be like, I cannot listen here and I just defend my position. No, I try to understand the other person.
You have to live in their shoes to understand what they're thinking.
Well, but in social media, they don't. Social media, I want to put something about you, and I don't care what happened to you. I just put it. And then you have a breakdown. Who cares? No, who cares? No. We need to be careful because we know that, and we talked in the beginning, there is many, many issues now mentally, and we have to be careful about other people. And I think it's not control enough. And I think that now these companies that they made so many millions because they are rich over the normal richness of you can be. I think it's time to put a control. Proper. You to have an account, you need to present your name, your identity card, or your passport, or your address, a proof of address, and then you can have it. Then you need to be careful.
Then you don't get people hiding behind a fake profile, of course.
Or you're going to have responsibilities. Like they've been happening a little bit now later on in England with the racist abuse of certain players. So I think it's something that doesn't mean that we lose freedom.
Sure.
Because remember that the word of freedom is my freedom finish where yours start.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the definition practically. And if I don't care about your freedom and I can't do anything against you, that means I'm having, I don't know how you call it, over, freedom. So the freedom is not to have things a little bit controlled, especially when you influence other people's lives.
Okay. Taking it back to your early days in Uruguay, you actually broke into the football world in France, is that right, at Grenoble?
Yes, I started like any kid playing the whole academy, all the ages, all the groups. Yeah. Then I was lucky to get in the national team, young, under 19, play a South American championship, and then into the first team.
Okay.
I played one season, so 12 months, yeah. and I had a chance to go to France. The first option was Nice, which was first top division. Yeah. I went to Nice. I spent there like a month because it was the country doesn't exist anymore, Yugoslavia. Sure. That he needed to leave for me to get in as a foreigner. Okay. And he didn't. So in the last day of the transfer window, they offered me this chance to go to a second division. It was a good link. And after being in France myself, I think I prefer a second division in France than going back to Uruguay.
Yeah.
I signed.
Did you think the standard was better in France?
I think the quality of everything really and financially was, I cannot exaggerate, but it was probably 30 times more than what I was earning in Uruguay. Sure. So we're talking about stupid. The problem was that I didn't perform.
Okay.
If I had to analyze my year and a half in France, I grew up as a person dramatically because I went from living with my parents to living on my own for 6-7 months and then being married. So, I mean, I completely changed. Football ways, I was poor. I didn't perform. We can say many things, but I don't like excuses. I can give you a few, but I didn't perform, bottom line.
Okay.
I didn't match. So, good things. I learned French.
Did you speak French before you went, or did you go there with?
No. I went there every afternoon to it wasn't a school. It was like no individual, but we were 3 or 4, a very small groups of people, and I learned. And because I need to talk, as you can see,
yeah,
I'm not worried about making mistakes when I'm learning a new language. So I started, and
brilliant.
More or less you keep it. Yes.
Good. And was it River Plate that you were with in Uruguay before you went to France?
Yes, River Plate from Uruguay, not River Plate that everybody knows from Argentina. This is a small team. I can compare it in England to, I'm not saying a small, what I mean is it's not one of the top that wins the league, but with a good academy, like Southampton, academies that they're Reading, famous academies in Uruguay, where they get many players out, and then of course they need to sell to maintain the thing. So it was a good process. I'm very pleased. I became a River Plate fan for life because everything they done for me was spectacular. So then Grenoble, like you say, in France, and then I was very lucky after a very bad time in football to go to Spain, which changed my life really.
And that was, I suppose that was when you really hit the big time, was it? Zaragoza?
Zaragoza was good because first it was easier after France. Life, language, same language in Uruguay, Spanish. Easy to adapt with my wife. I changed position. I went from a main striker to a midfielder. I had to start doing certain things differently. I grew up as well as a player. First year I was okay, but luckily I scored important goals at the end of the first year, so I stayed. I had a 4-year contract. My second year is much better.
Yep.
So I become a regular player, and my third year it was even better, and I started scoring goals, being a midfielder. So that put me into my last year in a great position because I was becoming better, but finishing contract, which means that you got the power to negotiate, and like that until probably in England they won the most. They know the most is the victory against Arsenal, in the Cup Winners' Cup.
It's funny that obviously your career in Spain, you won the Copa del Rey, you won the Cup Winners' Cup, and am I right in saying that you're their longest serving foreign player?
Yes, true. Yeah, 7 years. Yeah. 7 years, and luckily playing, because I know that certain people in England, they still having the idea that I was injured for a while and then injured again. I practically never got injured in Spain. Really? I played until I was 29. I had a little thing in a meniscus and a cartilage in my second season in pre-season, so I missed 7-day training. Okay. That's it. Never injured, but injury, I mean long term. Twist ankles, or I had a kick in a kidney and I couldn't play one game. That's normal, but injured long term, never. And I came to England, and after 3 months, crucial ligament, bang, 6 months out. So that was a problem. But I think different intensity, different grass, different surface. Everything was different for me, and I was already 29. So, slowly you start going down, obviously. But Spain was a great time for me, and as well, my kids, they're born
in Spain.
So, it's plenty of links with Zaragoza that will stay for life as well.
Do you ever go back?
I go back yes, once or twice a year for sure.
Sure.
There is so many times that they contact me to be a coach or no, but it was always in the wrong time, or I was working, or I was, it was in a moment that it was difficult, or the people it was at the club, but it was always like, there is always a link in there. Like I remember one day I said, but it looks like it's written, in history that I will manage Zaragoza. Yeah. Sometimes, I don't know when, but sometimes. We'll see,
to win the Copa del Rey and the Cup Winners' Cup with Zaragoza is an amazing achievement, but then to go on to play for Chelsea after beating Arsenal in the final.
Yes, well, listen, it's funny because when I'm finishing my second contract, so I have 4 years and then my third year, and we were talking about making a new one, because the easiest decision is stay in Zaragoza. Sure. Make another 3 or 4 years and retiring there. But then they come in, and this agent, and they said to me that Chelsea, maybe they were be interested. And you start like searching and checking. So because every single people that I know in football, and especially all the players in Zaragoza, but especially one Naim, who played for Spurs, were saying to me, like, English football is perfect for you, for your qualities.
In midfielder, yeah.
And getting in the box and heading and blah. And I was thinking, you start having those feelings.
Butterflies in your stomach,
yeah, maybe. I remember one day getting a little bit frustrated, and I'm saying to this Asian, it's called Paul Hodges, saying to Paul, it was a Monday, I remember clearly, after training in Zaragoza. I said, okay, if it's true, Chelsea, come on, let's talk to them. Like, putting pressure.
Yeah.
So he said to me, okay, let me call. And he gets the phone and call Colin Hutchinson, CEO of Chelsea, Colin Hutchinson. And I started speaking in English. Me, no one word.
At that point, no.
No one word. And he would look at me and say something. And then he goes, it's Monday. And I say, Thursday? I say, Thursday? What do you mean Thursday? Yeah, he's coming here, the CEO of Chelsea. I say, here is Zaragoza?
This
I'm
week?
Thinking, wow. Okay. Like, wow. Yeah. And we went from a possibility to him fly, having dinner with him, going to a place in a hotel. He was staying, calling, and negotiating the contract. And I was like, wow, that was done. Yeah. So the next few days, my wife flew to England because of schools, place of living. Even if it's London, you respect that from outside massively, and you don't know where you're going. And by the end of April, because I was free contract, we signed the contract. And then it started the other part. I needed to keep playing because Zaragoza was not safe from relegation.
Okay.
But at the same time, start thinking about the future.
Yeah.
But, people who knows me, maybe during the week, I was a little bit like checking and things, but Saturdays,
focused.
Football. Yeah. And I remember the day we got safe. Funny enough, I scored the only goal. We won 1-0. The fans, they gave me like a presentation, and I gave him the shirt, and it was like well known that I was leaving, but at the same time I was luckily producing And then my life
changed forever.
But changed forever.
Yeah.
For life. I mean, London now is my house. You know, when people say, where do you live? London. London? You know, like, London? Everybody will think it's Spain or Uruguay.
Yeah.
That's that should be the easiest for
and
Spanish.
You went to France, you couldn't speak French, and then you're going to England and you can't speak English. Was there any worry in your head? Were you ever thinking?
Listen, the first few weeks when we went to the house, I rented a house in a place called Datchet near Windsor, okay, M4, very close to the training ground. At that time, Chelsea training ground was Harlington. I remember the telephone ringing at home, and because you are only with your family and not many people, not many friends, when the phone rings, you're thinking, wow, you know, like, and you answer. And if from the other side is a Spanish speaker, great, and you will speak for hours. Now, from the other side, when it was someone saying, for example, no, hello, yes, we'd like to speak. I said, well, you know, like, 1 second. The only thing I learned is 1 second, and give it to my wife, that my wife spoke English.
English, yeah.
So I went, it looked like a bomb, you know, like.
Pass it off.
Yes. And funny enough, my first injury in October, it was cruciate ligament on my own training ground. Accident, you can call it. I stopped the ball, turned to finish in a small game, and my foot got stuck on the floor. So my knee twisted, cruciate ligament, typical cruciate ligament injury. This injury helped me during my recuperation to learn
English
and to be better prepared to play English football, because I was living in England, learning everything, watching football, paying attention, listening a lot, and at the same time learning English. Yeah. So I had to give credit to, at that time, it was Masseur, one of the first medical staff that I spent so much time with him, Terry Byrne, which we done hours and hours and hours of work to be able to come back on time, which was very important at the end, because I was able to play semi-final and final of Cup Winners' Cup.
Yeah, but you missed the League Cup final, is that right? 97?
I missed the League Cup final. It's funny because it doesn't even appear on my trophy cabinet. When I was part, even if I didn't play the last bit.
Yeah.
But because I didn't play, it's not there, no?
Yeah.
Well, okay, fair enough. It doesn't matter really. I was at the stadium watching. Of course, they gave me a medal anyway, my teammates.
Yeah.
Because it was difficult for me to be there and not being able to play. But the best part is to get back in semi-final of Cup Winners' Cup against Vicenza, getting through the final, and obviously winning the trophy. That at that time, 98 for Chelsea, it was massive.
Amazing.
No, because people now think about this Chelsea.
Yeah.
But that Chelsea, winning a European competition, it was spectacular.
How did it compare to winning it previously with Zaragoza?
Zaragoza was like, when we started playing with Zaragoza, we were not even looking at the final. We were just enjoying playing in Europe.
Yeah.
And then one day, I think it changed in quarterfinals. We play in Feyenoord away, and we get out of the dressing room to go to the pitch, and we see the stadium of Feyenoord. Massive. And the supporters, I mean, incredible. Then you start thinking, okay, we close now. This is proper.
This is real.
Yeah, this is real. That's the word. This is real. And then we played very well and we lost, but we went back home and we beat them 3-0. And then you're in the semi-final against Chelsea, by the way. And then
do you think that's where Chelsea recognised you and picked you up? Or?
I don't know, but it was funny. But what I mean is, for a city like Zaragoza, winning that trophy is probably the best thing that happened in our history. People are still talking about us.
Yeah.
This year was 25 years of that, and we are recognized as a group of unique players. Now, Chelsea, if I think about the people I have around, like Zola, in the beginning of the season, Gullit, Gianluca Vialli, Roberto Di Matteo, Dan Petrescu, Dennis White, Mark Hughes, on the floor. I mean, we're talking about massive players.
Yeah.
So I think we were started being a team that was playing to win things.
Yeah.
The year before I arrived, they won the FA Cup. That's what we play Cup Winners' Cup. Like you say, during 1997-98, we won the League Cup.
Yeah.
Then we're going to win the Cup Winners' Cup. Then we're going to win the Super Cup against Real Madrid. So the team keep winning and winning and winning.
Yeah.
So we become a winning team. When Zaragoza, after we won the Cup Winners' Cup, 4 or 5 years until they won the Copa del Rey, but European Cups, no chance. Now they're in second division. So it's a little bit different. Also, the celebration shows that, no? In London, practically, we didn't have too much celebration.
Sure.
Zaragoza was, like the coach defined it, the biggest celebration or manifestation, social manifestation in the history of Zaragoza.
Yeah.
Because it was...
That's amazing, isn't it?
Yes, it was. I mean, think about it. 93, we lost the final Copa del Rey against Real Madrid. We come back to Zaragoza, empty on Sunday. No one waiting for no one.
They don't care.
The bus, you get your car, you go home, see you later. A year later, we won the Copa del Rey. We go back, massive.
Crazy.
So many people out. Now, the following year, when we won the Cup Winners' Cup, I don't know how to explain to people. It was the whole city out.
Yeah.
I mean, from the airport, there were people there. The whole way into the city, like the Tour of France, the cycling that the people all the way, people in the street with flags, all the way into the city. We got changed because we were traveling to Pusan, and from there to the main council balcony, all the city was outside, and obviously the main. We call it the square in front of the council. It was the only thing we could say from the balcony was heads.
Yeah, everywhere,
and all the streets, coming out of that. It was the whole city, seriously. So it's difficult that can happen in London. When Chelsea, I had one parade in Chelsea in Fulham Road, Fulham or Chelsea, and Arsenal have it in there, and Tottenham have it in there. So it's like a little bit more local. This is a city. Outside, which was spectacular.
Do you think the supporters are more passionate in Spain and South America than they are in Britain?
I think in Spain they are okay. I think in England, the good thing about England and you is the only place in the world, and I'm not saying this because I'm talking to you, because I said in Uruguay. In England, they recognize the effort first and most.
Sure.
And if you give 100%,
you
can even go down. I mean, one of my first experience dealing with a team going down was when I was already at Spurs. That we play against Wolves, last game of the season, and Wolves was relegated.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe, I swear I couldn't believe, that Wolves done the lap of honor after our game. And people was there waiting and clapping each other. Okay. They went down. Now, I'm telling you now, for people listening to us, you cannot do that in Uruguay.
No.
Because you are not going to get applause. They're going to throw something to you. Yeah. So if you go down, you go in, you stay in the dressing room. So that kind of relationship and recognition that somebody needs to go down and you give your maximum. That is unique. That support is massive.
Sure.
And that's something that the foreigners when we come into England we embrace, because it's something unique that you don't get in another place in the world. You don't get it. Whatever they say is the only place.
That's because I was very lucky earlier this year to visit Buenos Aires and go to some Argentinian football games. And for me, I thought it was amazing, but it's maybe because it's just different. So you're coming from South America and it's a different...
No, but you watch a game, and during the game, they are spectacular. I mean, the fans, they are great. The problem is when you are in the losing side constantly.
It's not good.
Yeah. Okay? I was lucky playing Uruguay, a very small team, not too many supporters, but there is so many people that they've been in the big teams, and it becomes in Uruguay still control. Argentina, I mean, it's just different. Now it's a way of understanding sports, and I think England got the point. But that's what is why we, or the South America, will bring something into the game in England, because we bring that winning
mentality
at all cost. Maybe sometimes too much, okay, because we are from where we are. But you start seeing football in a different manner. You start learning other ways, which is great.
Gus, you mentioned some of the players that at Chelsea when you first came in, like Dennis Wise, who you went on to be assistant manager with, and Gianluca Vialli and Zola. And did you know from the start that they were special players?
Well, I was checking when the previous year, and that was why I decided to go to Chelsea. Obviously, the offer, the commitment from the CEO, from the club, and also checking that, they were playing the FA Cup final. It was the goalies, the Matteo, the Vialli, the Petrescu, the Zola, no? From Leves, like I said. So that pushed me. Now, I said it many times, I was lucky to play with great football players, and I need to name one, which is Francesco Lee, a Uruguayan player, which was exceptional on the pitch, outside the pitch, as a leader, as a captain, as a player, as everything. But then the best I play with by far is Gianfranco Zola.
Yeah.
I mean, I tried to put a definition that I didn't hear from other people. I said that Gianfranco Zola was so good that he made us better players. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Being with him on the pitch make us better. Yeah. That good. He was so good that we look better with him, and it was very easy to play. I mean, it was so simple to understand. It was always available. It was always at the right place. He had always the right touch. I mean, it was really special. And training every day. That's another thing that is difficult for me to put it with Francesco, because Francesco, I was only during the Copa America and a few games, so you train little. I was able to train with Gianfranco Zola for 4 years every day.
Yeah.
And I saw him doing things that they are out of this world, and then doing it, in the game. Because that's the best thing with Gianfranco. He was practicing free kicks and scoring in training for fun, and then he will come the game and you have one chance, and it will go bang, and you think, yeah, I saw him during the week. And on top of that, what a person. I always thought that the top players, they needed to be a little bit nasty, a little bit. No, Gianfranco is the nicest person. Yes.
Yeah.
So it had a perfect combination to be a top player.
How was Dennis Wise with the foreign players that came in? Because he's out. I mean, you have got a great relationship, or certainly you did, and it seems
it took me a year and a half to understand Wisey. No, it was the leader. Because of my character, I always thought when, we are all different, but when I was going into a new club, I always thought, okay, how does it work? Who is the leader? Who is the captain? Who is the one who we need to listen? And definitely Dennis was that person. So I pay a lot of attention to Dennis.
Sure.
And then obviously because of my commitment on the pitch and outside the pitch, we started having a great connection. And that took us to the option of me being his assistant for a few years. So it was the perfect leader for a bunch of foreigners living together. He made great decisions many times during the 4 years I was there.
Did you ever see him get over angry at all?
It was. I mean, the good thing with Dennis is that he was bringing the maximum of everyone, even without the coach saying nothing, because Dennis was there.
Yeah, he had high demands for the players.
Being exigent and making you be there. So, and of course, he was doing it. I mean, I make an example in pre-season. In pre-season, you need to run. It's hard. Nobody likes running. I'm running. But he was the best at running. He was always up front in his own. He was so quick and so fast and so, power that it was, okay, group number 1, Dennis Wise. Yeah. Group number 2, Graham Leso, this one, Roberto Matteo. Blah, blah. Group number 3, I was in number 4. So he was always ahead. So then you look after him and think, okay, this is the person that we need to lead us. It's English, it's hard, by example, give me the maximum all the time, and then enjoy playing with us, because obviously he went from a very English style of playing into a kind of European football. So, and he adapted very well. He really embraced it, yes.
Yeah, so you mentioned it earlier, Gus. You touched on that victory over Real Madrid in the Super Cup. And of course, you got a goal in the game as well. And coming from Zaragoza, is that special?
That was special for many reasons. One, because for us, the game against Real Madrid was massive.
Yeah.
Secondly, Chelsea didn't have that cup and we needed to win it somehow, like the Champions League that they won afterwards. Also because of we wanted to show that we were getting better and better, and what's a better way to be the Champions League winners, Real Madrid. Yeah. And for me, it's special in particular because, okay, people remembers me being an offensive midfielder scoring goals, someone more important than others. But for some reason, I play one with my national under 20 national team final, 2 Copa del Rey, 1 Cup Winners' Cup, the Cup Winners' Cup with Chelsea, and an extra one with my team in Zaragoza Super Cup. I never scored in finals. So I'm a human being, and you start thinking, why do I score here? Why do I score there? Why do you score against Man U? Why do I score against Real Madrid in Spain or Barcelona? Why you score in semi-finals? But then in the final, I know it's one final, it's more difficult, but so when I learned it that morning that I was not playing, I was furious. I destroyed my roommate. At that time was Chapi Ferrer. I killed him all afternoon. But that brought something extra. I said, okay, like I always try to convince my players, you don't play. Okay. Give me 5 minutes. I will show you.
Yeah, why I should be playing.
If you give me 25, coach, we said, if you give me 25, you got a problem because I'm going to for sure show you that you made a mistake. Yeah. That kind of mentality that.
Yeah, I want to prove it wrong.
I was lucky to go in with Newland. Mm-hmm. And then I said, okay, it's all there for me. Then, of course, it needs to happen, but I had a header before that was close and I was getting there until we got that break. And when the ball dropped on me, that depends on you. When Gianfranco just put it there, like saying, go on, have a shot. But, that also takes you to another level. I always say you grow and you go step by step, getting to certain points. Regrets, maybe not playing a World Cup with my national team. I couldn't, but, But then, I play in great teams. I won trophies. I was able to, make friends, leave a name because of that. Still living in England, work in England. So many things that happened because of the career. But especially, I needed that extra bit for myself of scoring a final.
Do you think that was the pinnacle, the highlight of your career?
Well, in terms of achieving something, yes. But my highlight, if I had to put out frame in my house, I need to put a 95 year. And I'll tell you why. It's not because of Chelsea or nothing. It's because in May, I went to win the Cup Winners' Cup against Arsenal with Zaragoza, which was unexpected. Yep. And 2 months later, I win the Copa America with my national team. Amazing. So in 95, I thought, I can play anything, I'm going to win it. Like you feel that you're going to win everything. So it's 3 months that they took me, they put me in another level, which are very special, especially the Copa America, which is, you need to live in Uruguay to understand what it means to us.
I was going to say, for people in Britain or even in Europe to understand the Copa America, it's over there, it's massive.
Look, it's something funny because until the year of 87, Copa America was playing away and at home until the final. It was like a qualification thing. Yeah. And Uruguay never lost in the whole century a game at home in Copa America.
Really?
Now, in 87, they started playing the Copa America like Euro Cup.
Yeah.
In one country. Okay? Sure. They play in Bolivia, they play in Argentina. And then 95, Uruguay, in Uruguay.
No pressure.
Wait. You need to win it, but you cannot lose a game. Because if you lose one game, you are the first team on losing a game in the whole century. Okay?
Wasn't it?
That was the pressure for people to understand. And then we won the first game. The second, we qualified. The manager changed a few players in the third game to give rest. We losing 1-0 and we drew 1-1. Then we watched quarterfinals against Bolivia. We beat the semi-final. That probably was my best game. The one I enjoyed the most against Colombia. We beat them. And then the final against Brazil, which before the game is lovely, party time. But I remember the goalkeeper, Fernando Alves, when we got to the stadium, he said, now we must win.
Yeah.
If we want to go back normal, that's the pressure. And we went to penalties. Luckily, I didn't take. So we won. We won 5-4 on penalties. It was You know what is the difference? People ask me the difference, winning something with your club, winning something with your national team. It's simple. First, it affects more people close to you. For example, when I won trophy with Zaragoza or Chelsea, yes, my family, a few friends. Okay, now, when you win something with Uruguay, I can tell you because it happened. Yes, because my school, I went my whole education to the same school, okay, a school called Santa Maria, Maristas. So my school reacts in an incredible way because one of the students went on to win the Copa America. Yeah. Your classmates from every year, your club, River Plate, your family, obviously, your friends, your girlfriend. I always say, a friend of mine said to me, please win, because Monday I need to go work, you know? And I want to go there like saying,
I've done it.
Yeah. He done it, but I done it. Right. I know people say to me, your friend was rubbish. So many things are affected. The whole country. And being so small, we are only 3.5 million. Making people that day for a country so small, so happy that we are on top of the world is very, very special. And like I said, it's more emotional. Even if I cry in Zaragoza a lot, but in that person, you can see that more people around you get affected by the result.
Gus, what makes Uruguay so special when it comes to football? Because obviously I'm Scottish and we've got 5 million people and we're nowhere near as good as you've ever been.
It's the mentality of first present football.
Yeah.
First thing you do when you're a boy, kick a ball.
Sure.
You become 6 or 7, you start playing football in your local team. And everybody wants to play there. The good and the bad ones. Yeah. And as soon as you play a little bit well, everybody's pushing you to go and play football. And then you finish playing for school and for your club. And then you play football. Yeah, you play all the time.
It's life.
Life. And then you see that it's going well and you got a chance and people start helping you and pushing you. And, you know, for example, at school, I have a deal with the priest that was in charge of the school, that I was playing for the local team.
Sure.
If I was able to miss physical education at school, because I needed to go training, I needed to go studying, I needed to do physical education, I needed to play the weekend, Saturday for school and Sunday for my club, or the opposite. So I said, give me a chance. If you want me to play for you, let me exonerate this, or, you know, like having a negotiation, because I cannot do everything. By the way, like I told you in the beginning, I finished playing basketball for school as well on Sunday afternoons.
You're a busy man.
I love it. I mean, there were no better feeling than playing Saturday with River, being good, and having that chance to go and enjoy something different with my friends. Because remember that at school you play with your friends.
Yeah. It's a release. You can relax a bit more.
Yes. Yeah. But you get to an age, I would say 15, 16, where school, you cannot play anymore.
Yeah.
Because it becomes risky, because you need to recover, because the club put you in a position where you have to be careful. And I have, you know, those situations where the school will ask me to go and play that particular game, and I need to ask permission to the club if I can play that game, because it was like a derby. But then, of course, it was a problem for me, because I was maybe not playing for school, and that important game was coming. Somebody will come out of the team, which is not nice.
Yeah,
like you taking his place. Luckily, we were very close friends, and you know they wanted you to go anywhere. But it was a good mix, you know, between everyone. But you need to be careful, because you can see the end of that road that I told you in the beginning.
Yeah, the motorway.
Maybe I'm gonna get to the first team, and maybe I'm gonna play football professionally. So you have to be careful there.
Who were the big players in that Brazil team in the final of the Copa America?
Copa America, well, Francescoli, I told you. Brazil, you're talking Brazil.
Yeah. Who was it?
Roberto Carlos, Dunga. Oh, you're going to know the little Juninho. He played for Middlesbrough.
As well, yeah, of course.
But Roberto Carlos was funny, because I remember playing the final, and we had a system like there was 4 defenders, 3 in the middle. I was playing one of the 3 in the left side most of the time. Like an off the front Francescoli, number 10, and 2 strikers. And we were losing 1-0 at halftime. And then the manager made a few changes. Play was an exceptional player. Another number 10, Bengoechea, scored a free kick, 1-1. And then 20 minutes to the end, I changed position with Bengoechea. He was playing on the right and said to me, Gustavo, let's change position. And I went right side of midfield, okay, in 3. And then Dunga will get the ball in the middle, and he will ping it to the left, and I will look over my head, and over there it was Roberto Carlos.
Yeah.
And I needed to run 70 yards back to try to stop him, yeah? And then get up and go the other way to try to, score the winning goal, and then get back and run with Roberto Carlos. Oh my God, he made me run that final. I finished dead.
He was a fantastic player though, wasn't he?
No, the legs. When he went to hit the penalty, you seen that he put the shorts up and he got that massive legs.
Massive calves, yeah.
And the calf, he went under the goalkeeper, nearly missed it, but it was scary. I mean, people talk about penalties. You go there, you put it, you hit it. No. You are a specialist or you are not. Anyone can take a penalty. Yes, you, me, anyone. Now, to be precise and to score constantly, you need to be a specialist. I was not, okay? Now, we had in the team, in the final, at the end of the game, from the 5 penalties, 4 specialists, and 1 player who wants you to take it. It was no negotiations. I'm taking 1, that kind of hard-working midfielder.
Sure.
So I was the 6. So when they told me you are 6, I'm thinking, okay. And then they start goal. And then you start thinking, oh my God. Oh my God, at home. And imagine, this was funny because it was Uruguay taking a penalty, the whole stadium, goal. Real Madrid, whistle, but bad. It was incredible, the noise. Score. Then Uruguay, yes. Brazil, the same. And then they missed the 3rd. So now 4th, you got this friend of mine, who is a very hard-working midfielder, that we all knew where the ball was going. We were just expecting that Tafarel, the goalkeeper, didn't know. Yeah. Luckily, he didn't. He went the other way. So we scored. So now if Dunga missed, we are champions. But Dunga scored. Now, we're taking the 5th to win. And I'm like...
Please score.
Sergio Martinez, we call him Manteca Martinez, playing Boca Juniors, playing in Spain as well. I was like... I even say, I think I was more nervous than Martinez because he was a penalty taker. He took many, many penalties in Boca Juniors in La Bombonera. I was like, please, Manteca. And when he scored,
if you miss,
when he scored, look, I had a groin. My groin, it was tight of running backwards. When he scored, pain went. No more pain. Yes, it was running everywhere. It was too many people on the pitch, too many photographers, too many press. We didn't care. We went through people. I don't know. It was. I don't have a clear image of the celebration. Like it was proper. It was.
You got player of the tournament as well, didn't you?
Well, I was playing tournament in my position. It was a little bit misunderstood that, but I was playing on my position because I play most of the games.
Sure.
And except the semi-final, I play all the minutes.
Yeah.
So you done something. Now, I didn't play in the position I enjoyed the most. So I done a job for the team. The coach, unfortunately, passed away. He came to see me in Spain and said, "I need you there." And I said, "Mister, I want to play a little bit more forward. I want to collaborate with a few goals." He said, "No, I know you can help me there. I need you there, and I need you." And he convinced me to play in a more defensive position.
Yeah.
And I said, "I need to play." I didn't play too many games before that with my national team. It was Copa America. I have to. And I went there and I just worked hard in my position. And luckily, I helped a little bit with it.
What were the celebrations like in the capital once you
It was massive. We went into the city center. We couldn't celebrate too much because there was so many people that the police took us away, unfortunately. Okay. In the next few days, it was, I think you can see in the face of your family, when you go home and you see your family, how proud they are, how, like I said, between proudness and relief, like, okay, now we can go out and everybody will say, well done, well done, well done, and no, your son. So it was a special moment, yes. Unfortunately, I didn't have too much holidays because my team in Spain was not doing well in pre-season.
Sure.
And they called me back straight away after 1 week. And I went back and I started the following season. Crazy.
But when you go back now, Gus, are you always remembered as the team that...
Well, yes, because, in Uruguay, we got many father and son that we done things very special. My father won the basketball Copa America.
No way.
And I won the football Copa America.
That's amazing.
There is Diego Forlan.
Yep.
His father won the Copa America with Uruguay, and he won the Copa America with Uruguay. And Matosas, another, there is many father and sons that they won the Copa America. It's same sport, mostly, me in particular, and two different ones.
That's amazing. That's a great story.
Yes. It's scary. So people, for example, until I won the Copa America, I have to say I was the son of Washington Poyet. Yeah. Because he won in basketball, we call it Sudamericano, but the Copa America is the same, all the country. Then you win and you are, okay, he won it as well. Like,
He's good.
Even if football is a little bit more popular, obviously you need to equal that.
It was 26 caps in total?
Yes, I mean, I was unlucky with my positioning. Like I said to you, I was playing an offensive role, and Uruguay in that position had exceptional players.
Sure.
Okay. In the beginning, like I said to you, in all the 90s, Francescoli and Bengoechea, the two number 10, that the manager tried to combine them in the first few games, but it didn't work. So then Bengoechea was on the bench, luckily to come back in the final and score. Yeah. And then later on, I don't know if you know him, Chino Recoba, he played Inter many years. So it's like,
great player.
I couldn't go and play in my best position. And I was always playing out of position, and I was not performing. So I remember my last cup, I told the coach, I said, Mister, I think it has to be someone better than me in this position. I'm killing you.
Sure.
I'm not giving you what I should, because I think our role as a coaches is to play the players in positions where they're going to give the maximum that they can give you with their qualities. Like you're not going to play, I don't know, Harry Kane as a left back.
Yeah, of course.
He can play there.
But you're not going to do it, yeah.
But he's not going to score goals. And what he does is scoring goals, so playing up front. So that kind of situation. And I was playing always a little bit out of position and not bringing, for example, arriving in the box. I couldn't get in the box. I was too far ahead.
Yeah.
So then I say, what I'm doing here? On top of that, it's not what I'm doing. Is I'm not giving the team what I do best, if we can call it. I'm just running around and passionate and giving 100%. It should be someone better than me on that.
Okay.
And that's why
that's very honest, Gus. That's very honest.
I am.
That's me. Keep going. Yeah.
That's me. Funny enough, the coach said to me, no, don't worry. No, you're helping us. Following game, he didn't call me.
No.
So it probably was the game, and thought, maybe this guy, knows the truth. But it was me, yes, like now, the same.
And back to Chelsea, you then went on to win the FA Cup and
last game at Wembley, at the old Wembley.
Yeah, how was that? Must have been an amazing atmosphere.
Yeah, listen, the best place, the most iconic stadium for me ever, the old Wembley.
Yeah. Spectacular,
unique, history, the walk from behind the goal to the middle of the park in the FA Cup final.
Yeah.
I would pay to do it again.
Yeah.
It's like 60 meters, 75 meters with the stadium going ballistic and you just walking in there like, the big kings. Then the red carpet, then all the presentation. I mean, the whole lot is unique. It's very, very special. Probably the best cup worldwide, no doubt. Okay? Having the chance to play it and win it.
Thanks very much to everyone who has listened or watched this podcast. Thanks once again to G4 Claims for sponsoring this podcast. And if you liked it, tune in next week for the second part of this episode with Gus. Please also like and subscribe everywhere that you check out your podcasts and stay in touch on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, etc. Cheers.